And like the old saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But in this case, you can lead a person towards business success, but you can't stop them from self-sabotage. By the end of this video, you're going to know the most impactful errors from my worst clients over the years. And if you're doing any of these things, by the time we're done, you're going to know exactly what to eliminate from your thinking and from your actions so your business can stop playing with one arm tied behind its back.
Ready?
If you're in business and you're doing any of this stuff, see this as a flashing orange warning sign. Learn from these people's mistakes. So here are the biggest lessons I've learned from my worst clients. My name's Pat. I've worked strategy to bring in whale clients for big companies with serious budgets. I've helped Mara and Pa stores bring in some customers when they didn't have any ads budget. And it all started when I rebranded my family's failing business and launched it out of crippling debt in less than 9 months. I know what it's like to work with stubborn individuals, and I know what it's like to win even. Some people will always conceal the truth even when you're trying to help them. It's almost like they think you're the teacher and they're like a student and they're trying to hide things from the teacher because they don't want to get caught or something. I liken these people to the kinds of people who like to clean before the cleaner gets there. Now, you might be thinking, well, who cares if people hide things? Well, what does that really matter? But what I've come to realize is these people don't just hide things from their advisor, they hide underlying business problems from themselves. So trying to help somebody see the error of their ways when they're purposely trying to hide things from themselves, they don't want them to know the truth, it's a recipe for disaster. It's like the overweight person who refuses to look in the mirror and see that they're actually overweight. The truth will set you free, but my clients who were afraid of the truth, these were among my worst clients. And then we have people who are always trying to skip ahead. The kind of people who are distracted by shiny objects. And it's almost always the same kind of things. A new email strategy, a new ad strategy, a new landing page strategy, a new social media hack, a new way of doing hashtags that gets more attention. Or if I come back after half an hour and do this to a post that tricks the algorithm. These are always the kinds of things that people are trying to do because they're trying to get ahead because they don't want to look at the real cause of the problems of why the business isn't moving forward. See, it's not that you can't make rapid progress. When fast growth happens with a business, it's never because of a magical cure. But thinking there's a magical cure to your business woes is a dead giveaway that you're going to fail. Or you're going to spend a long, long time really struggling and eventually you might figure it out, but it will never be because you found the one magical cure. Usually people who suffer from shiny object syndrome, they don't understand that their product is the problem. The offer that they've got for the marketplace, the very thing that they're making money with is the problem. So they either jump from different product to product to product, trying to find the one that's going to hit and launch them into the stratosphere, or they refuse to look at their product. So they think instead it's the way it's being marketed. So they jump from this tactic to this method. Now, figuring out what's wrong with a product, that's a solvable problem. We can figure that out. But if you're constantly moving and changing things, trying to find the hack, trying to figure out a way to get more leads, to get more attention, you'll never figure out the real reason why people don't want to buy. And that's probably the biggest takeaway from shiny object syndrome people. A crappy product or service is incredibly hard to sell. But people fall in love with their thing so hard that they can't see that perhaps the market just isn't that into them. How you show up is important, but probably not in the way you're thinking. Let me explain. I've had clients rock up to meetings hungover as shit. I've had people come to calls on barely any sleep. I've had people show up, haven't done their homework. And I've had people seem to have gone backwards with their journey because they've forgotten the work that they've done. They've forgotten that they've already created something or done something. But all of these people, they still had some measure of success. But you know who didn't? Inconsistent people. People who predictably only post on social 5 days out of the 10 that they're supposed to. People who predictably only sent 3 emails when they were supposed to send 7. People who were supposed to get 4 video testimonials, but they only rocked up with 2. Think of consistency like going to the gym. If you go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, it really doesn't matter if you're doing an average program and if you do an average workout every single time. By the end of the year, you're going to have better results than most people. But if you go to the gym only once a week or once every second week, it doesn't even matter if you've got the most perfect program. It's not going to work. So I'd rather people show up to the calls hungover most of the time. At least they show up and do the work. So over the years, I've changed my opinion on this. I used to think that it was about the high quality work that you were going to do, but not anymore. Consistency, showing up consistently and doing the things that you know you need to do more often than not on a regular basis is pretty much always in the rearview mirror of people who have reached business success. This is when people show contempt for social media platforms. You don't have to personally like social media, but you at least have to be able to respect the enormous power that they have. Only then do you have a chance of understanding how it works and how to make it work for your business. Most people come to me when they don't have enough sales or leads, and usually it's your messaging. It's what you're telling the world about your product or your services or your brand. Now, without an ads budget in today's world, this means social media, and to a lesser extent, it means email, but people don't usually come to me with email problems because if they've got an email list, they've already solved this problem. So if you don't have enough customers, it's because your marketing sucks, which means your content sucks. And people who show contempt for these social media companies seem to not realize that your content is being distributed for free by these social media companies. My worst clients have contempt for these platforms, so they never figured out how to talk to their market. They even literally see it as someone else's job. They'll say things like, oh, I have a girl for that, or I send that to my PA, they're going to post on social. And so then I check and I look at what they're doing on social, and it's obvious to me why they're not getting leads through their social media platform. And then I'm met with nothing but resistance when it comes time to try and address it and change it and fix it. So not respecting these platforms leads to never figuring out how to get free eyeballs to view your offers. Not enough runway. This was a tricky one. Let me say this clearly. If you're starting from scratch with no audience, no content, no understanding of ads, and no proven products or offers, you're going to need at least 6 months, ideally a year. There's just too much to learn. There's too much to adjust to before you get a chance to have some real skill. But then on the flip side, if you have some experience, you've sold some stuff, you're growing an audience, you likely already understand the David and Goliath battle you're signing up for, so you're probably going to be able to get a lot done in like 2 or 3 months. This means that if you don't have the finances to take either one of those two paths, get a job, take the pressure off, give yourself the best chance of success. A short runway is almost guaranteed to lead to failure. It's just too much pressure for anyone to really handle. And the 4-hour workweek casualties. Thanks, Tim Ferriss. Look what you've done to the world. Some of my worst clients, these people grossly underestimated just how much time they would need to spend on their business. They either didn't want or weren't prepared to carve out the 2 to 3 hours at least necessary to work on their business every single day. Usually they think that life balance is more important. They don't realize that growing a business is not a natural thing. The natural state of everything is to slow down and eventually stop. But in business, every day it's your job to somehow take the energy you've got and push things, get things happening, to make stuff happen. Your entire objective is to move things that don't want to be moved so that you can engineer the results that you're looking for. The 4-hour workweek was written by a guy, Tim Ferriss, who spent way more than 4 hours making the book, The 4-Hour Workweek. It's universally misunderstood what he's talking about inside that book. And the casualties, they see business growth as a burden, as something that you have to do on the way to business success, instead of seeing business growth as something that you need to fall in love with in order for it to actually become a reality. The 4-hour workweek is possibly an outcome, maybe down the road, if you even want it when you get there, but it is not a recipe for how to achieve it. Victim mentality. Now, these people think that the world owes them something. But before you think, no, that's not me, don't be so sure. Sentences such as, it shouldn't be this hard, and why is it so hard to find good help? Or why can't people do their jobs properly? Or showing unreasonable frustration when things don't go your way, or if a frustration is your natural response when things don't go your way. These are all signs of victim mentality. So when the website breaks and you're blaming your web guy, that's playing the victim. Every day, there are constant challenges, and the ones that make it through have this incredible ability to take radical responsibility. It's my fault I got caught in the rain. I should have had an umbrella. It's my fault the payment gateway broke and I lost out on that sale. I should have had a backup. It's my fault that the product isn't selling. I should have worked harder to ensure that the offer was truly irresistible before I turned the ads budget on. It's my fault the social posts aren't working. It's my fault the sales page isn't getting sales. It's my fault the clients are defaulting on their payments. It's my fault lead quality is bad. It's my fault my leads can't afford me. Radical responsibility is difficult to find in people. But when I see it in you, I know that you're going to go places. Pumping up your own tires. These people need external validation and motivation. These people need their coach or advisor to pump up their tires often. These people have usually had some kind of trauma earlier in their life or some kind of situation that has affected the way that they relate to the world. And I can sympathize because often these things aren't or weren't their fault. But all these years later, they're still operating on the same mental programs. My clients who succeed fantastically are always in a season where they are their own cheer squad. Having the internal motivation to get up and try again is perhaps the number one sign that I want to work with someone, because I just know that no matter what the market or the world throws at us, you're going to be okay. You're going to have the audacity to dig deep in the face of defeat and go again, despite the odds being stacked against you. So figure out a way to be your own cheer squad, to pump up your own tires so that you don't need external validation from anyone. Being in business for yourself and growing something takes a pretty unique kind of person. And most people aren't cut out for it. And that's okay. But now you know the kinds of things to eliminate from your day-to-day so you can give yourself the best chance of success. We'll be running the Growth Accelerator a few times over the coming year. People seem to like it and are getting some pretty extraordinary results. It's inexpensive, and if you're curious to know more, you can add your name to the waitlist below. Otherwise, this next video is about achieving difficult things. It explains my simple alternative to goal setting. I'll see you in the next video.